It was just before dawn. The disciples were on a boat, worn out from rowing against the wind all night. The Sea of Galilee, usually calm by morning, had been unusually violent. Waves slapped the sides of the boat with relentless force. The darkness still hung in the air, thick and heavy, as their strength waned and frustration rose. Then, suddenly, someone saw a figure, a man walking on the water. Fear surged instantly. "It's a ghost," they cried out. But a voice cut through the wind and their panic. "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." The voice was familiar. It was Jesus. Peter, ever the impulsive one, called out, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus simply said, "Come." And Peter, eyes locked on his teacher, stepped out of the boat. For a few breathtaking moments, he defied nature. His feet did not sink. The storm raged around him, but somehow he stood. He walked. The impossible was happening, not because he was strong or skilled, but because his trust was stronger than his fear. But then, Peter looked away. Maybe a gust of wind hit harder than the others. Maybe a wave crashed too close. Maybe it was the sheer madness of the situation that cracked his confidence. Whatever the reason, he saw the storm. He felt the danger, and he began to sink. "Lord, save me," he cried, and immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" They climbed into the boat. The wind stopped. The sea calmed. The disciples worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." This story from Matthew 14:22-33 is often read quickly, sometimes reduced to a miracle or a lesson in boldness. But underneath the surface is a powerful metaphor for the human experience, especially for men navigating adulthood, purpose, and pain. Let's slow it down, because this story is not just about walking on water. It's about fear, it's about control, and it's about the strength found in surrender. Most men don't admit fear easily. Fear hides behind ambition. It disguises itself as anger. It wears the mask of perfectionism, detachment, or hypercompetence. But it's fear all the same. Fear of failing, of being irrelevant, of not being enough. By our 30s or 40s, we've tasted some victories, but also failures. We've buried some dreams, faced unexpected losses, and realized that the climb doesn't always lead where we hoped. Peter stepped out of the boat because, for a moment, his faith was greater than his fear. That moment, where you risk stepping into the unknown, is a sacred threshold. Maybe for you, it was starting a business. Maybe it was showing vulnerability in a relationship. Maybe it was walking away from something toxic without knowing what would come next. That leap of faith always begins with the eyes on something bigger than the storm. For Peter, it was Jesus. For you, it might be a higher purpose, an inner voice, or a vision of the man you know you could be. But fear never stays quiet. It creeps in, usually the moment after you've begun. It says, "What are you doing? Who do you think you are? Look at the waves. Look at the risk." And the moment we shift our gaze from purpose to panic, we sink. This is not failure. It's human. Even Peter, the disciple who would become the rock of the early church, sank. What matters is what comes next. Peter cried out. He didn't try to swim harder. He didn't pretend he was okay. He didn't let pride silence him. He said, "Lord, save me." That cry is powerful. It's the moment we let go of control. It's when we admit we can't fix everything. It's when we stop pretending to have all the answers. And every time, grace meets us there. Jesus didn't let him drown to teach him a lesson. He reached out immediately. Think about that. Immediately. Not after Peter proved something. Not after he tried a little harder. Immediately. We live in a culture that glorifies self-reliance. But Scripture reminds us that strength often looks like surrender, like calling out, like reaching up. It's in our most vulnerable cries that divine compassion meets us, not with judgment, but with presence. And sometimes, that's all we really need. The sea calming as Jesus stepped into the boat is more than a weather report. It's a symbol. When we let go of our illusions of control and invite peace into our panic, storms quiet down. Not always outside us, but definitely within. Inner stillness is often the first sign that trust has taken root. Now imagine the other disciples, watching all this unfold. What did they feel? Regret for not stepping out. Relief that they stayed safe. Maybe a bit of both. But it's Peter who got to walk on water. Peter who had a moment, even if brief, of experiencing something transcendent. Fear may have pulled him down, but faith lifted him in the first place. That moment would mark him forever. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to walk the whole way. Sometimes just getting out of the boat is victory enough. Courage isn't always about conquering the storm. It's about stepping into it, knowing who walks beside you. What boats are you stuck in today? The boat of staying in a soul-crushing job. The boat of emotional numbness. The boat of silent suffering. What waves are terrifying you? Financial strain. Loneliness? Shame. And what voice are you listening to? The storm that says, "You can't," or the quiet invitation that says, "Come." When Peter began to sink, it wasn't the storm that had changed. It was his focus. Fear distorts reality. It exaggerates risk. It amplifies worst-case scenarios. And most of all, it disconnects us from our deeper source of strength. There's wisdom in fear. It protects us. But there's also wisdom in knowing when to move forward anyway. Faith is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act in spite of it. Letting go, in the spiritual sense, isn't about apathy. It's about trust. It's saying, I can't control the waves, but I can choose where I put my gaze. It's loosening our grip on outcomes, letting go of ego, and allowing something greater than ourselves to carry us. Many men today feel like they're drowning in expectations, in unprocessed grief, in the weight of always needing to appear strong. But strength is not drowning in silence. Strength is reaching out. It's crying, "Lord, save me," in whatever form that takes for you. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's seeking therapy. Maybe it's falling to your knees in prayer for the first time in years. Maybe it's just admitting you're tired. That honesty is not weakness. It's the first breath of healing. The hand is always there, not to scold, but to lift. The story doesn't end with Peter's failure. It ends with Jesus restoring peace, with the disciples seeing more clearly who he is, and with Peter, the man who sank, later becoming the foundation of the early church. So don't fear your moments of sinking. They might be the most honest, most transformative moments of your life. They might be the very waters that wash away your pride, your self-doubt, and the lies you've believed about your worth. Faith doesn't mean we never doubt. It means we know where to reach when we do. It means we believe that even in our panic, love answers. Let go of fear. Step out. Trust. And when you start to sink, know this: you are not alone. And if you want to see more Bible stories like Thai, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are many more reflections coming your way, honest, grounded, and rooted in timeless truths. You never know who might need to hear this today, so feel free to share it with someone close. Thanks for being here. Keep walking, keep trusting, and keep your eyes on what matters most.